It has happened, ladies and gentlemen. The New York Jets have officially snapped their five-game losing streak with a 21-13 win over the now 6-3, Houston Texans. A huge win at that. We're going to get into the film and much more all here on a Friday edition of NY Flight Jets Talk.
Jets, Jets, let's go.
Jets wide receiver Wesley Walker. Wesley, how you doing today? ESPN writer Mr. Rich Cimini, Jets reporter for The Athletic Mr. Zach Rosenblatt, Hall of Famer and Jets legend Mr. Marty Lyons.
Your host, Connor Law.
Boy, was that an eventful Halloween night. Hello, everyone, and welcome into another edition of NY Flight Jets Talk. And it feels like the first time in forever we are here to celebrate a Jets win, break the five-game losing streak in a nice fashion against the Houston Texans on Thursday Night Football. We're going to get into the film here and much more. But before we do that, everyone, make sure you smash that like button. You are subscribed to the channel. We had a very, very, very eventful post-game show last night, a bunch of super chats, a bunch of memberships, and following the win, show my support to you guys. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drop 10 memberships for you guys in the chat here on the show before we get into the breakdown and recap tonight's game. But I just dropped 5, and then there will be another 5 coming in soon. Here's the second 5 is about to come in. And wow, it was, like I said, a ton of support on the post-game show, and in exchange, I wanna pay, my support to you guys, and thank you for all that you guys do here on the show, and how much you guys supported me over the past few months. I mean, it's crazy to think I haven't even been doing this for a year, and we already have passed 1,000 subscribers. It really means a lot to me how much you guys have supported me. But the 10 memberships are in, so we do have some names to read. Let's see. Lawrence Yance, I'm Metch, Monkey Man Stan, Dino, Project Prospect with Dom C, Matthew, Mark Ferraro, guy Jake Asman, William Justice, and Kay Brock, the Jet fan. You guys are all a part of Connor's A-team here on the show. Appreciate support, but nevertheless, we're going to dive right into the film. So I'm going to share my screen here. Look at this, and this is the first play I had. So it's 2nd and 13 here in the first quarter, 11:06 to go. I really liked this play call from Ulbrich here. He blitzes, obviously, but he sends DJ Reed off the edge and on a corner blitz, and I'm a big fan of it just because it was DJ Reed's first sack since 2018, and I really like what Ulbrich tried to do there, unlock the speed and elusiveness to come home for a sack. So here, let's take a look at the play and we'll break it down. Kind of rewind there. Just a beautiful overall rep from Reed. We'll take one last look at it here. Just beautiful overall. He really used, like I said, I really like that Ulbrich used him for his speed there. Let's get one more look. It was an 8-yard loss, like I said, his first sack since 2018. Let's pull it back up here on the screen. So we'll actually break it down here in real time. Stroud, he snaps, and then just no one's there to account for Reed, and he chases after Stroud and gets him down. I don't think anyone else. I think the thing I like really most about that play is no one else on that defensive line would have the speed, would have that agility to be able to chase Stroud down and sack him. Just because you look, and Michael Clemens was in on that play. Let's see. It looks like Michael Clemens, Will McDonald, Hassan Reddick were among the names in on the defensive line rotation that play. But like I said, no one had that speed to get Stroud down, and that's something the Jets have struggled with all season. They've pressured a lot, but they've struggled to finish those sacks just because they don't have a very speedy defensive line per se. So the fact that they're able to finish it off, I wanted the Jets to blitz consistently just because the Texans were without both Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins, and the Jets did just that. They followed what I said in my Jets X Factor column, and I think that's one of the main reasons that they won. Just those key sacks. Reed had a sack. Jamie and Sherwood had 2 sacks. I think they combined for the defensive line had 8 sacks. 8 sacks last week. 8 sacks last night. So it was a crazy game. But we do have a few things in the chat from our guy Alan. No school, and then do they believe in school anymore on LI Alan? I believe it's a holiday. It's a holiday actually. I believe it's called Diwali, but I'm off from school today. And so I'm here talking Jets with you guys, Alan. Appreciate you tuning in. For everyone out here watching, submit your questions in the chat if you want to call into the show, voice your opinion on last night's game, talk all things New York Jets. Do so by clicking the pinned comment in the chat. Appreciate all the support. We have Sharon in here. Finally caught you live again. I love your insight and information. Thank you, Connor. Well, Sharon, that means a lot. Appreciate you tuning in here on this Friday afternoon. Like I said, smash that like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Now, the second play I have, go to 9:06, just 2 minutes. 2 minutes after the play we just showed you. 9:06 here in the first quarter. Let's pull this play up on the screen. And this is a play here from Joe Mixon. And what I want to really point out here is Michael Clemens. He had a huge game last night, 2 sacks, someone who's really, really struggled this season, but he did not have a great rep here, and I'll show you why. You take a look, you see him right there, lined up behind 76. He wins. We'll look that back there. My thing is he won that 76 completely whiffs, and Clemens did a good job. We'll slow it down here in real time for you guys so you can really hone in on Clemens here. 76, Stroud snaps at 76, whiffs on Clemens. You see that right there? Let me pause it right there. 76 whiffs on Clemens. And now you look, and Clemens is in the backfield. Joe Mixon, though, however, one of the things I wanted to point out, Mixon, he does showcase his great vision, but it looks like Clemens kind of over pursues it looks like Clemens, what happened is Clemens really over pursued to that right side, opening a huge gap for Mixon, leading to a first down. Obviously, Sherwood couldn't catch up with him. Jalen Mills and Michael, oh no, it wasn't Mills who had to get him down. It was, Sauce Gardner who ended up tackling him there. Sauce DJ Reed and Jalen Mills who ended up getting him down, but it was a huge gain. It was an 11-yard gain that led to a first down, but this play could have easily been blown up in the backfield, and that's what my one gripe with Clemens is here. We'll watch it again one more time. Look at Michael Clemens, number 72, just fully overcommits to that right side. So when you have it's different when you have someone like a power back there. If you have a power back, let's say, it's Derrick Henry there, then Clemens, obviously Derrick Henry brings a lot of power, but just given the build, it's completely different because Joe Mixon is someone who's going to beat you with his speed. He's a very, very explosive running back. So you cannot risk overcommitting to someone like Mixon because look, once Clemens overcommits, boom, Sherwood can't get him down. I mean, the tackling was still not great last night. Mills can't get him down. MC2 can't get him down. And then it just turns into this huge game, which ends up basically setting the Texans up in perfect opportunity to score there. So it's just the tackling issues are killing us. That's my one gripe about Clemens from last night's game overall, though. I thought he had a really, really solid outing. I think he got credit for 2 sacks last night, and just the run stopping still didn't look great last night, but I expected Mixon to run all over them. It's just when I went back and I rewatched the all 22, that's something that caught my eye as boom. Oh, just fully overcommitted there, and that could easily be resolved. Let's see what else we have here. So we're gonna go over to, here we go, 7. Let me get the play back up on let me get the film back up here on the screen. In the meantime, though, like I said, everyone smash that like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Appreciate all the support here. So 7:33 now in the first quarter. Let me pull it up. Before I do so, I have an interesting comment here from our guy Wildwave. Clemens needs to play the interior more, and Wildwave, I'm gonna have to agree with you. I've been thinking that for a while now because last season they had him try the interior. He did not look great. We know that he did not look great on the interior, but now Salah's whole message, obviously Salah's not here anymore, but his whole message to Clemens over the summer was we're gonna just keep you on the edge, and now you could take off weight. Because last season it was a bit confusing. It was taking reps on the, on the outside and on the inside, so it was confusing for someone like Clemens who kind of had to put on weight, and then he was still heavier. He was heavier on the outside. I still think he is heavy for the outside. I just don't know where they'd fit him in as a, I, I mean, there it wouldn't happen anytime soon just because he had that 2-sack game last night, and there's a lot of depth. Not a lot of depth on the interior, but I think the Jets stand pretty pat where the interior of the line is. I like the idea. I just don't think it's going to happen. But let's get back here. Right, this is the play right after the Jets force the turnover. We have Brees Hall here on this play. And, like I said, 7:33 here in the first quarter. He goes up the middle for a 5-yard gain. He fumbled it, but then recovered it. What I'm trying to highlight and show you guys here is really, I really like the blocking on this play with no miscommunications. They all follow their blocking assignments. That's something this offensive line has struggled to do this season. So they nail that down. No, they all follow their blocking assignments. No miscommunications. And something that Brees has struggled with all season long is vision. That's been an aspect of his game. He's not only this season, he's really struggled with his entire career. On this play, he shows great vision here. I'll play it in real time, then we'll slow it down for you guys. Now we'll look back and slow it down for everyone so we can break down the play and you guys can like I said, slow it down in real time. Go to point. There we go. All right. Here we go. Brees Hall. So you look, no, that's Devontae, excuse me. He's in motion. And look at the offensive line. They all follow their assignments. Kenny Aboa, he's over there. These two go for one guy. The only thing is, I at first it was Moses. I think did a very good job on this play, as you can see right there, number 78. He does a great job of adapting when he notices Houston is sending an extra defender. He does a great job of adapting and getting off his current guy and switching over to open up a gap. And then look at Brees. Look at this hole. I'm gonna go back and just look at that. Jeremy Ruckert. He's someone I'm gonna point him out right there, number 89. He's someone who's struggled to stop the run. Not stop the run, excuse me. His run blocking's been abysmal throughout his whole career, and it's been disgusting, especially this season and these past few weeks. Look at how he just holds 43 in place there and opens up this gap for, yes, he eventually spins off, but that was that key 1 second where he kind of cracks him and then boom. Yes, you see those two defenders collapse on Hall, but at that time, Hall had great vision and took the hole right up the middle, and he ends up getting a 5-yard gain. He does fumble forward, but he recovers it anyway, so it doesn't matter. I really like I said, the blocking there and Hall's vision. I like finding that gap and exploiting it because that's something Hall's struggled with. I mean, we've only done a few film breakdowns here, but just rewatching, I always rewatch the all 22 every week. There's been so many plays I saw a ton during the Vikings game where it was these wide open gaps and Hall just wouldn't pick up on it. He does it right there, and then that's what leads to a 5-yard carry. It wasn't a huge 25-yard run, but still a 5-yard carry that gets us closer to that first down. And we know the Jets have been killed by it for so many years, those 4 or 5-yard carries start to add up. So if Hall can continue that success, I think he's going to continue to do great things here. But we're gonna keep it going here with this breakdown, and everyone submit your questions in the chats, thoughts on last night's game. We'll get into it after we finish all the plays here. You want to call into the show, voice your opinion, smash that like button, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Before we go any further, let's thank our sponsor of the show here. That's none other than Huga House. I mean, rocking a Huga House hat right now. They just dropped 6 new ones last week. Rocking the same as our QB1. Aaron Rodgers, got Aaron Rodgers, MC2, Shane Gillis, Shohei Ohtani, Josh Allen, Brian Bumgarner, and many more. Go to HugaHouse.com and use promo code Connor15 for 20% off. Actually, went from 15 now 20% off on your first hat, 35 on your second. That's HugaHouse.com, promo code Connor15 at checkout. Appreciate all the support here on this Friday afternoon. Let's keep it rolling. We're going to go to 5:23 here in the first quarter, and this is, Quinnen Williams. We're going to get into him. We're going to get into Quinnen Williams, but I mean, he's really improved. I mean, he got off to a really, really rough start this season. I think it's safe to say. And you look at his numbers now over the past 4 weeks. He 4 sacks, 21 pressures, and three tackles for loss. What I want to point out here is not only his improvement, but him winning on first contact, which is something this whole defensive line group has struggled to do. Just boom, wins off the first step, that quick win rate. And I think that's exactly what you need in someone like Quinnen. So we're gonna bring it up here on the screen. Here's Quinnen Williams sacking CJ Stroud. We'll show it to you as always, then we'll slow it down here on the show. There it is. So you see the 4-yard sack there. Oops, sorry. Lost the play there. So sorry about that. Now we'll go back. You see how he literally, you look at obviously, the guard there, 76. What he does is, I'm gonna slow it down for you guys here on the show. Look at how he just bulldozes him on first contact, and I think that's the biggest thing really to win these 50-50 reps in a league is establishing yourself on first contact, and that's not something we've seen from Quinnen really as of late, especially this season. He's normally the one who gets off to a, who loses the first step, which ends up losing him a lot of the reps. But you look now, 76, obviously the guard there. Quinnen just boom, first contact, easy win. And now 76, you look, he's coming from he's chasing from behind in this, trying to win the rep. So literally, like I said, just winning that first contact is so key to a sack for someone like Quinnen. And then just staying persistent, pursuing Stroud, not giving up. Even, 76 does tend to put up a bit of a fight. Like I said, Quinnen did win at first contact, but 76 still put up a fight, and Quinnen did not fold. He just continued and pursued Stroud, and boom, great move. Kind of spins off 76 to get Stroud because 76 was kind of directing him further back, misdirection from Stroud, which a lot of guards do in this league. But he ends up sacking him, and Quinnen Williams just had a beautiful game last night, like he has past few weeks. Great rep there by Q. Let's keep it rolling here. We're gonna go all the way over to the no, not second quarter yet. We have the 3:17 left in the first quarter. Brees Hall, 16-yard gain. Let's get it up in on the screen here. Let's see. How do we 3:17? Boom. Alrighty. Bring it up right here on the show. Like we always do. Show you guys first and then we will break it down. All right, you look at that play from Brees. Kind of what I want to show you guys here. Why I think this is such a great rep. It was just a great team. The blockers were great. I thought it was a great play call there from Todd Downing. Great executed run to the outside. Beautiful executed run to the outside with great vision. Like I said, I want to hone in on that vision like we did the first play from Hall. Great vision from Hall and really, really stout blocking downfield, really solid blocking downfield, which is something this team has struggled to do. I mean, you look on a lot of these plays, especially from these past few weeks, this team's really struggled to block in space, but they do a great job of just executing this run to the outside. Let's here we go. Let's break it down. Just kind of add on before we do break it down. I just think it's such a like I said, just to add on there, just such a I think it's a creative play. If you focus on Tyler Conklin there, he has a great crack block on the defensive end, and Tyron Smith, who had a huge bounce back game. We're gonna get into that. He looked great. Him and Devontae Adams did a great job of blocking on the outside. So we're gonna slow it down here for all you guys to watch on the show. Take a look at this play. It looks like almost kind of go back there real quick. Like it looks like a fake toss to Braylon and draw attention over there, and then crack right to Brees on the outside. Now look at Tyron in space. Devontae Adams, great blocking there on 5. He tries to spin off. It doesn't matter. Hall uses his elusiveness. What you need from someone like Adams there is just hold him. Hold him down. Not obviously not hold him, but keep him away from Hall. And he does that once Hall is able to break free. So And then you look at Tyron Smith even. We can rewind for a second. Tyron Smith does a great job of keeping 4, and Brees Hall a couple weeks ago would have possibly decided to even cut right over here. If you can, I am assuming you guys can see my cursor on the screen right over here next to where Morgan Moses is. But his vision has improved so much over the past few weeks, and that's something great to see. And boom, look at that hole. These two defenders, obviously here 5 and 94, end up collapsing, but Brees does a great job of just breaking that tackle and fighting for what ends up to be a 16-yard great gain. Great vision by Hall there. Great executed toss and great blocking in space. Those are probably my three biggest takeaways there. No, Brees is again someone who struggled a bit earlier on in the season, and again he's picked it up in prior weeks, which is something you want to see. The Texans have been solid against the run, but I think Brees, something that he did is he took advantages of their weaknesses. He took advantages of those big plays where there were stout blocking, like on that rep. So Brees Hall continues to take advantages of the opposing defense, which is great. But we're gonna move over to the second quarter. First play of the second quarter, and it wasn't a pretty one, ladies and gentlemen. Malachi Corley. Period. What an absolute joke. I mean, this guy, fans and him, just based on his cryptic social media posts, have been begging to see him on the field. Been begging to see him on the field. They put him out on the field and he drops the ball before he crosses the plane. No one even in space. A self-inflicted wound. But guys, before we get to the play and make it any further, our guy Jake Asman is in here and he gifted 5 memberships. Let's give him a Jets Jets. There we go, Jake. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships, and thank you so much for tuning in to the show today. Those 5 memberships went to Motivational Means Media, Cuca Lake Jet Fan, Infrared Jets, Leany in NC, TriStar Jet. Jake, thanks so much for tuning into the show, and thank you so much for gifting these memberships. Really means a lot to both me and the channel. But let's get into this Corley play here. I mean, it doesn't get much easier than this. I thought it was a great play call. I was a big fan of it at first, and we'll watch the play here first, and then get into it. Alrighty, there we go. That's the play. He starts celebrating and doesn't realize he dropped the ball. It ends up getting overturned. But here, we're gonna slow it down. We're gonna slow it down right here for you guys. I think the thing I want to basically hone in on here, which I notice when I watch this rep, is the blocking in space. Yet again, Devontae Adams, great job. Garrett Wilson, great job. Moses had a beautiful block, beautiful block on this play. I think the main thing though is the kind of misdirection they ran at first really got the two linebackers here to really bite the other way, opening a huge gap for Corley and his opportunity to score a touchdown. Let's rewatch it. So you look, Rogers obviously signaling for motion. Look at this misdirection. Boom. Misdirection. Pause it there. Look how much attention Brees gets. Look at that swarm of defensive linemen right around Brees. The linebackers bite in such a way they think Brees has the ball, but no, that's not the case. Rodgers still has possession. And look at this opening, really. You look at Garrett there. He is that guy, pretty much. He's not going anywhere. And Corley has so much space. Rodgers toss. Corley does a great job of evading to the outside here. Look at this block from Moses. Beautiful block from Moses, and just green grass. Jeremy Ruckert guiding him to the end zone. And look at this. We'll go back half a second here. Boom. Drops the ball at the goal line. Self-inflicted wound. And at least, I will say this, at least Jeff Ulbrich said something and said he disciplined him post-game. I mean, I could only imagine what would happen if Robert Saleh was there. He probably would have coddled him. And put him out for the rest of the game. I thought Ulbrich did a great job of what he said. He told the media that he told Corley, quote, "First of all, you can't do that. Second off, you owe us one." I mean, just a terrible play for someone who's been begging to find time on the field. But I guess the positives really from the plays we've looked at so far is the blocking in space has really improved vision from Brees Hall is something I've really liked. But let's keep it going here on the show. And everyone, drop your questions in the chat. I'm sure we're going to get to them after we finish the review here. Smash the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. You want to become a member of the show or send a super chat. It's the paid way to do it, but the free way, like I said, just smash the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Appreciate the support here on this Friday afternoon. We'll keep it going here. 11:05 in the second quarter. Let's get this play up on the screen. It's Joe Mixon for a 6-yard gain. Let's watch the play here, and then as always, we'll break it down here on the show. All right, so let's look at that play. Let's look at that play really quick. And I'm sure you guys. I don't know if you guys picked up on it. It's hard to see in real time. The Texans kind of try to fake kind of what the Jets did to the Texans on that Corley end around, kind of run a bit of a misdirection here, if you will, and fools the Jets defensive line at the start. Let's rewatch it. So you look, and it's not only the misdirection. I'm just gonna pause it here for a quick second before we get into it. It's Joe Mixon, his elusiveness. He's using that to just exploit the weaknesses of the Jets run defense. And props to him. He did that all night long. Ran for over 100 yards and got in the end zone. And also, not only after the misdirection, but let's look at the play. We'll get into it, but Javon Kinlaw and Quinnen Williams they don't collapse on the inside. They open this huge gap for Mixon, which ends up leading to a 6-yard game. They must collapse on the interior. Let's take a look at here and break it down. C.J. Stroud, Robert Woods, the motion man. They kind of fake. That it wasn't necessarily a misdirection. Stroud hands it off, and then Mixon immediately cuts. But look what I'm talking about. You look at Quinnen Williams and Javon Kinlaw, they must collapse inside to anchor down that hole. Brady McGregor has the outside locked down, and you got Michael Clemens, Isaiah Oliver, and Sauce Gardner on the outside. Their job on this play is to collapse inside and stop that hole up the middle. But look how spread out they are. And Joe Mixon, like I said, he's one of the league's most elusive running backs, and he has incredible vision. So he's of course going to just use that to his strength, and boom, right up the middle for a 6-yard gain. They actually do. Kinlaw, at least Kinlaw does. He kind of collapses, but it's too late. It's too little, too late. Mixon already has his move. He does cut back to the outside, and McGregor gets him down, which holds it to only a 6-yard gain. But I think the biggest thing is I picking up on that immediately. It took way too long for Javon Kinlaw to pick up and say, "Okay, I got to collapse inside." That should be something that's quick hitter. They know that they must do that off the snap. Let's keep it going here. Though on the show, we'll look at Sherwood sack for a 9-yard loss. Go over the third quarter here. See where that was. Let's get the exact timestamp for that. Actually, no. Before we do that, I have another play I wanted to show you guys in the third quarter. We'll go. It's another Joe Mixon run actually, so it's kind of fitting here. It's not a it's a really good play for the Jets defense, though. It's not another play that's gonna want to make us kick ourselves. Let's look at it, and then we will break it down. So you look at that play there, 1-yard loss. Jamie Sherwood gets credit for the tackle there. Kind of what my thought process was here is I really like what Sherwood did. He kind of fake not excuse me, not this. I had the wrong play up. My bad. Kinlaw. My thoughts on this play overall. Kinlaw had a great win. He wins on first contact, which I said that's what we need. And then Sherwood comes in for reinforcements. We'll slow it down here and break it down. So like I said, Kinlaw with a great win, and then Sherwood just comes in to finish things off. Great team effort here to collect a tackle, a TFL, a tackle for loss. Look at Kinlaw right there, 54, working on number 69. Looks like Tank Dell was the motion man, and then they kind of try to run this play to the outside. And Mixon realizes, okay, there's a lot of havoc on this side. I'm going to try to cut back in, but that's something Kinlaw struggled to do on the last rep I showed you guys. He adapts right there. He adapts soon enough, and you look, he's basically toast. So Kinlaw does his best to get him down. He kind of, I'd say he gets half a tackle there, and then Jamie and Sherwood just comes in for reinforcements to finish things off. So, like I said, great team rep there, and great job by Javon Kinlaw to identify right away. Okay, I'm gonna get in the backfield, and I see where he's going. I mean, zone in on him and take him down. I thought it was a really really solid overall team rep there to record a TFL tackle for loss. Let's keep it going though. Next play here we have third quarter still. We'll go to the 4:58 mark where we will look at another, like I said, another play at the 4:58 mark. This one was a rather interesting play. It was oh excuse me, sorry, I have the wrong play up on the screen. I don't know. Sorry, I'm not great with this. I'm not great with this stuff. I don't know what it is with sharing the screen here on NFL Pro. It's kind of tough to do so while live on the air here, but do appreciate everyone bearing with me and tuning in. It's a Jamie and Sherwood 11-yard sack here, and what I really want to let's look at it first, then I'll break it down. But there's something really interesting I picked up on here. So when you look at that play, we're gonna break it down. But what I really want to hone in on, I don't know if you guys, if you noticed there, Quinnen basically, not Quinnen, excuse me, Sherwood basically fake drops back. He's lined up at the line, and then he fake drops back and rushes back in. And Will McDonald does a great job of just obliterating Jeremy Tunzel there to open up the sack for Sherwood. Let's take a look. Let's take a look here at it. Um, you could see. So obviously, you look at Sherwood there. You look at Will McDonald coming off the edge. Look at the first move. Sherwood he turns his shoulder, pretends like he's gonna drop back, aiming to fake out that Texans offense like they're not sending one. The Jets do though end up sending one, two, three, four, five, six as 27 converges there as well. But look, Will McDonald had a great overall game. Let's look at his season high 9 pressures last night on 33 pass rush, with 6 of his pressures coming against Jeremy Tunsil, who he lined up against 9 times. I mean, Jeremy Tunsil did not have a fun time defending against Will McDonald. Look at McDonald there, just boom, lowers his shoulder, beats him, and then you look at Sherwood there, 44, coming right down the middle. McDonald, like I said, does a great job of setting him up. Stroud kind of spins off. He's weaker, and then boom. Jamie and Sherwood comes in and finishes things off for the Jets, recording the sack. Sherwood had a great overall game, per usual. I mean, he's obviously looked great all season long, but I really like that play. McDonald having, setting the tone off the edge and then setting it up for Sherwood, who comes in right up the middle. I really liked the fake there as well. I thought that really opened up a lot of gaps for the not opened up any gaps. It closed a lot of gaps, excuse me, really for the Texans offense, and it really hurt them on that play. The Jets, they couldn't account for pressures last night. CJ Stroud, excuse me, was under basically deluge the whole night. He was pressured on a ton of his dropbacks, a ton of his dropbacks. I thought the Jets defense did a really good job overall, defensive line specifically in pressuring Stroud. Let's see. We'll go over. It's our final play here. Well, actually, no. Yeah, that was our final play. I appreciate everyone sticking with us. If you're still in here, we're gonna get to all your questions. Submit your questions in the chat. Smash the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Want to call into the show? Pin a comment to do so. Appreciate all the support. Let's start things off here. Sharon, we need to learn how to tackle in the next 10 days if they're tackling for dummies. But I mean, the tackling was still not great yesterday, and the Jets' run defense continued to struggle. It does not get much easier for them. I have a feeling between Kyler Murray at the quarterback position and James Conner as the Cardinals running back, I have a good feeling they're going to run all over us. I hope it doesn't happen, but I mean, James Conner is another one, kind of similar build, similar skill set as Joe Mixon, that, explosive, elusive, smaller back out of the backfield. That's gonna That's gonna, the Jets' run defense does not have an easy task next week, and then also containing Kyler Murray, who runs all over the place. That's really his strong suit of being a quarterback. So yeah, I completely agree. The tackling must get cleaned up. And yep, no school on Victory Friday. Everyone knows that. Preach, preach, preach. Mr. K, this kid is the future. Mr. K, well, that means a lot. Appreciate all the support. Thanks so much for tuning in here on this Friday afternoon. Our guy Chris Cortez tuning in. Chris, appreciate all the support here on the channel. Mixon is such an extremely athletic, powerful, fast back. Very hard to stop, but yeah, lots of tackling blunders on your going on with our defense. Lots of penalties on us again. Great job as always, Connor. Chris, appreciate you tuning in and the support. Yeah, I mean, I said that on my Big Apple breakdown episode with Brandon Pockris here on the show we do before every matchup. Said in my Jets X Factor column for my keys to success. He cooked us. He did, but they came out with a win, and I thought it was going to be the epitome, really, of that game. And it kind of probably, if I had to hone in on one thing and say what the Jets did worst, it was containing Mixon. But still, they came out with a win, and they didn't let him beat him too much. I mean, he only got in the end zone one time, just standing at over 100 yards. But it's not like they allowed some crazy 2 touchdown performance out of him. He played a very good game though, and I thought he did a great job of finding the weaknesses in this already weak Jets run defense. Let's see. Our guy Nick tuning in. It's a heartbreaking way to ruin your first touchdown in the NFL. I'm sure we'll move on from it. Great to see him in action finally. That was his opportunity, Nick. He was, the coaching staff's come out saying, publicly, this isn't college anymore. That's what their message is to Corley. But he finally gets his opportunity there and just fully blows it on a stupid mistake, a self-inflicted wound that killed him. It killed him. And, it's such a stupid way to just ruin your first NFL touchdown. And it hurts too because that play would have been just a beautiful from like a film guru schematic scheme wise, really. It was such a beautiful play, the way it was executed, the misdirection, and then all the blocking in space. It was set up perfectly for the Yak King, Malachi Corley, and he just blows it by dropping the ball before he gets in the end zone. Jesus, that was annoying. That really, I mean, I swear, if the Jets lost that game because of him, I don't know what I would do. That was, I mean, it should have been 20. It should have been 28-13. All that matters though is they won and they got back in the win column. I understand that, but I mean that was disgusting. There's you cannot make an excuse for that. Simply you can. I've always said though, Nick. I wonder what Robert Saleh what Robert Saleh's message would have been to him if Robert Saleh was still here. Probably would have played him for the rest of the game. Nick, appreciate you. Appreciate you tuning in. Chris, I love Morgan Moses. Great blocking for shit. Yeah, Moses had a great year. He's been a fine addition for us from the offseason. John Simpson, obviously, he was out yesterday, but he's another one. He's been one of the most underrated additions for the team. He's looked great when he's been able to get his way on the field. Obviously, he's a starter, but bearing injuries, he's been great when he's been healthy. So yeah, the Jets free agency, with the exception of Mike Williams, really. Tyron Smith, though, he did have a bounce back game. He was really, really struggling to start the season. I actually have some stats here from the free agents. I mean, Tyron, I think, had his best game yesterday in Week 9. He finished 89.5 PFF pass blocking grade. Didn't allow a pressure. He's allowed a ton of pressures, a ton of hurries, and a ton of sacks this season. So it's good to see him finally take a step in the right direction and improve after what's been a really disappointing, if you will, start to the season for the veteran tackle. And then so Isaiah Oliver's another free agent. He's looked great. He's played slot corner, he's played outside corner, and he's played safety this season. Been very versatile. Ulbrich described him as a, quote, Swiss Army knife. So he's done literally everything he can for the team. 70 PFF grade in Week 9, including a team best 84.2% tackling grade. And he only has a missed tackle rate of just 10%, probably the lowest on the team. He's been one of the only guys on this team who can tackle. Jalen Mills is another one. He's been one of the only guys who can tackle. He didn't allow a catch. Last night. Led the team in tackles. He had a run stop and a pass breakup. I just think the defense, like these veteran leaders like Mills, like Oliver, I think they just bring so much energy to the defense, and when they get an opportunity to step in, they do great. I will say I was scared with Jalen Mills in the Patriots game that he was going to pick up a few unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. They get very close, and you know what the referees in these days, you can't do anything. with celebrating taunting or whatever, but didn't end up getting one, and he's looked fine since they've really elevated him from the practice squad. Let's see. Got Chris Corley will learn and get it together. He's a keeper, great kid with a lot of talent. Can't wait to see what he becomes. Yeah, it's just not a great first impression to really make. I mean, it was the second time he's ever touched the ball this season, and then you waste a touch like that, where, like I said, everything was aligned perfectly for him. Would have been a perfect opportunity for him to get into the end zone, and he just blows it on a stupid self-inflicted mistake. I do think he has potential, though. His skill set reminds me a lot of like a bigger version of Xavier Gibson. He's going to be a kick slash punt returner with the speed slash yak ability. I don't think I think he'll do great things. It's just I think a lot of it might have to do with his attitude. I don't know. I think that's why that might be the main reason as to why he hasn't been playing much. Mr. K, do you think Corley will play more even though he made that rookie mistake? I don't know. I mean, I I think a lot of it depends what they do with Mike Williams because the deadline is on Tuesday. I mean, Williams is someone he's completely lost Rodgers' trust after those miscommunications in the Vikings game and the Bills game. He's completely lost Rodgers' trust, and it's evident. So if they deal Williams at the deadline, I do think we'll see more. I don't know though, because Ulbricht's someone he's going to want to discipline players. So I want to see what he does with Corley next week. He will be active though. I think he will be active in every game until at least Alan Lazard comes back from his injury that he was placed on IR for yesterday. I think he'll be active for the next few weeks, but I just don't know what his role looks like. I can't really speak on that. It's going to be interesting what the Jets do at the deadline. Though I do actually have off from school on Tuesday as well, so I will be doing a trade deadline show here for a trade deadline special, if you will, here on the channel. Hopefully, I think the things to watch. Maybe they go after a run stuffing defensive tackle. I still don't think that's going to happen. Or they deal Mike Williams. Those are the only two moves I can suspect them making. My advice to you guys is don't expect a huge day on trade deadline. That's what I will say. I don't think it's going to be a huge day for the Jets. I mean, last year they came away with one player, and that was Roger Saffold, who never saw the field. So yeah, Jets have never been a team that's like relatively active at the trade deadline. I think the Devontae Adams trade's as big as it's going to get. I think that was the final straw. Don't expect much more to come. I think this is the roster the Jets are going to ride out with for the rest of the season. But that'll do it for me. Going to wrap up here shortly. So submit your final questions in the chat. Your final thoughts. Want to hear what you guys have to say. If you want to final calls, if you want to call into the show, pin comment in the chat. You can send final super chats, memberships, clicking the $ bottom right corner. Appreciate all the support. I'm going to wrap up here in a few minutes. Mr. K, means a lot. Thanks, Connor. Keep up the great work. You make us Jets proud. Means a lot. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And Mills and Oliver has stepped up exactly. I mean, they've been willing to do everything, step up into any roles, help in any way they possibly can. So I think that's what, not only the veteran leadership, but their versatility has really, really, really been huge for this team. But everyone, that'll do it for me. Really appreciate you tuning in. If you're just joining us, did a film breakdown on the Jets' 21-13 win over the Houston Texans, so you can rewind and watch that. Smash the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. And also, NY Flight Jets Talk podcast is now on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Just search up NY Flight Jets Talk. Be great. That doesn't even need to be a 5-star review. Just go in and give us an honest review of the show. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. But that'll do it for me. Smash the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Connor Long, signing off. JTS Jets.